Hello everybody, it's me Max, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be checking out the Rlaarlo Omni Terminator. And we were very lucky enough to win this in a raffle, and I will now be handing you over to my dad, who's gonna do the unboxing, and yeah, I'll see you later for the drive-in.
Yep, so like the boy said, lucky pair of laddies that we are. So this is your Rlaarlo Omni. The only downside is that Scottish people can't say Rlaarlo properly. So over in the west, Rlaarlo, is that right, aye? And possibly from Dundee, but hey, Rlaarlo. But anyway, that is besides the point. So we're just going to call it the OT. So this is your OT box. This is the carbon version. Pop it on the top and you're going to see that you've got all the goodies inside. I can't see it from this side, but I know that there's oil-filled shocks. What else we got? So wheelie bar, centre diff. It looks like a decent ESC. Decent size motor with a decent size output as well. Claiming 60 to 80 kilometers per hour on the box, but I'm not too sure if we're going to have to fit a different pinion for that. But that's your box. That's your box art. It's quite nice. Let's not waste any more time, and we'll get inside the box. Inside your box then, Rlaarlo controller. I actually said it right that time. Your Omni Terminator, your wheels, and a whole bag of goodies and paperwork. So let's do the paperwork first, and then we'll have a look at the car once I have got the wheels on it. The amount of stuff you get in a Rlaarlo box is pretty special. Looks like we've got some, there's always like fixtures and fittings potentially for your receiver box. There's some sticky pads potentially for replacement items, maybe like a replacement gyro, which I do believe this has. Some sort of body posts here. We've also got wheelie bar, which will be getting installed. Some spare battery straps, some cable ties. So I'm not too sure if that links in with what this is, and I'm not too sure if that's to do with lights, but I will read the instruction manual. I promise. So we've got all those. USB kind of charger, but I will just obviously put these, the battery that you get with it in a balance charger. And your standard kind of like hex keys, a little sort of hex driver, and potentially a speed pinion in there, and also some little gaskets because you may want to play around with the diffs. We shall see in this video. A nice little Rlaarlo Omni Terminator flag sort of headscarf if you're that way inclined with your fashion. That's quite sweet. And then we've got transfers, assembly wheel guides, more transfers, and a rather meaty instruction book, and this is obviously a list of your modifications. So a rather comprehensive amount of stuff you get in this, and I do believe that they're possibly something that you can just go and stick on a toolbox if you so wish. Lovely. Wheels on, wheelie bar on. You're getting your free battery in this, so inclusive of your controller. It's basically going to need 4 AA's, and you're going to be ready to rock and roll to take this out. So underneath that body, we've got your fronts. Let's have a look first of all. So your very meaty and metal shock absorbers with springs, adjustable collars on those, which is always nice. We'll get a wee drop in a moment, see what that suspension's like. You can adjust the camber at the front. Moving backwards then, a decent sized servo and your receiver box here. We've also got a nice little metal sort of sink fan with your fan on top. I don't have much luck with fans. I'm hoping I won't actually burst this one. Centre diff here, and your big ESC. I believe this is the larger of the two, which is the 45 amp, as this is a 3S carbon. going backwards there, it is fully shaft driven, all metal shafts. You have got a rear sway bar, and back to the front we've got the sway bar there. And again, your big beefy shocks at the back, which seem to be quite nice. Bit of a difference when I put the wheels on. It didn't seem as droopy, but we'll get that off. Or we'll get this off the stand, sorry, and we'll have a wee look at that. So yeah, we'll pop the battery out. We can get this on charge, so we can get it for a little rip. Put that in here. And once we've got the battery, obviously you've got a nice carbon fibre centre strut or brace, whatever you want to call that there. So this looks to be quite a solid little thing. And being mentioning little, it does seem quite small for a 1/10, which I do believe this is. But we'll get a little side-by-side comparison. I think I know the exact truck we're going to use with the side-by-side comparison. We'll flip it over. And you can see it's got that nice metal body on the bottom, metal chassis. I don't know how long that's going to look pretty for, but that looks a little bit sort of youchy. Look it up if you don't know what a youch is. I'm just showing my sad credentials there. Solid front bumper and front and rear, front plate, because obviously that's going to take quite a kicking, and some decent thick lower arms front and rear for that bashing. I have done a bit of reading on it, and it does seem to be quite a little tough basher, which is good. So that is your lot for under the body. So let's have a wee look and see what it looks like with the body on. And there we have your Omni Terminator, fully stickered up. Wheels on, wheelie bar on. I'm not too sure if I mentioned it earlier, because I'm filming this over a couple of days. It does have the XT60 connector on it. You do get the battery with it. Battery's fully charged in the Omni Terminator. I haven't gone well with the stickers, because I do like a more sedate looking monster truck. I know it's a bit of an oxymoron statement, but I don't really like going overboard with the stickers on them. I like keeping it nice and basic and nothing too crazy. Wheels are on, no problem. One thing I will say about the Omni Terminator is I've got my controller on, reach in here, boom. You don't have to clart about taking the body off or anything like that at all. You can reach in, get that done. Yeah, if you're going to be running at muddy places, you're probably going to get the internals probably quite messy, but I do like the fact they can sort of pop in and switch that on and off. Now, if you are buying this, I'm not too sure if you may have had the same kind of issues, but when I first switched this transmitter on, everything was locked on the transmitter, so I couldn't muck about with the throttle dual rate or the steering dual rate. So had a wee read of the manual. I know, amazing stuff, but just this one here, it should be, I've got it down as the H6 button, but it will come up as almost like a reversal button. Keep that pressed down, power it on, and it will remove sort of like a lock that's on this, which will stop you performing all your functions. So you can obviously go for your steering trim here, and again play with your dual rates here. Coming back to the Omni Terminator then, we'll just have a wee look at the wheel speed. So fully charged 3S Rlaarlo battery that comes with it. I'll pop the milliamps of the battery up on the screen, but I'll make sure everything is up to 11.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
And we'll go. So we will. That's going to be quite rapid for a 3S truck. I haven't put the other pinion that's in there. I'll do a bit of research and I will turn this off just in case it is drowning me out, but I may go and put the other pinion in there and we'll see how many teeth are on it, and it's not going to be the channel if we don't try and max it out, is it? First try. So when I get this out and we have a wee look at it driving, it is going to have the larger pinion on it. Okay, I will go away, I'll do that now, and when you see me again, I'm going to be looking at this larger pinion, because I'm an idiot.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Here we are then, back at our secret testing spot, which isn't so secret. So just side by side, we're going to have a wee face-off today between the Omni Terminator and what I think is my favourite RC so far of 2026, the MJX 10210. Now, both say they are 110 scale, but you'll see from this footage here that the MJX is mildly bigger than the Omni Terminator, but we're both going to run them on 3S because obviously that's the fastest that we can run the Rlaarlo on, and it wouldn't be fair if we rocked up with the MJX and punted that on 4S. So what we'll do is we'll get these out for a rip, get some footage, and then we'll get some thoughts on the matter. Let's go. No, 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 no. Okay, here we are with the Rlaarlo Omni Terminator with that larger pinion in it. Now, as you'll have seen from the cut off or the cutaway that I did, I maybe broke a hex driver in there because I'm an engineering genius and I'm not. So the larger pinion's in there. I'm not too sure about the mesh. It does sound quite loud compared to other RCs that I've had. And as you've seen from the previous footage, not as awesome in the air on a front flip, but a little blip of the throttle every single time. Little blip of the throttle brings that rear end into check. So it just seems to be a bit quite nose heavy on the jumps, and then you go and spill it like so. Stand by. Guess I'm a little bit concerned about the noise on that pinion. I've got a little body clip loose. But for a 3S though, on that larger pinion, it is certainly ripping up, which is good. And I think Rlaarlo have kind of engineered this beautifully in relation to the tuning on the suspension. Like I say, it's just lovely. So I'm not going for like any major backflips on the concrete. You can always smash into a wall, I suppose, but no major backflips on the concrete. So I'm not got any major chassis slap. We've had this up the skate park a wee while. Obviously got a wee bit of scratching to the bottom of the chassis there, but this is absolutely spot on. No slapping at all, and fair enough I'm not doing massive sends with it, but a little blip of that throttle, boom, and you're all kind of on all fours again. In comparison to the MJX. Now we did keep that on the 3S while we were doing the little drag races with it, which is decent. But there's something about the MJX. This is solid, this is good. Can't lie, this is actually doing a cracking job of holding up. Again, this is the carbon version. And I don't know if you caught that there is a little bit of cog in. So I'm not looking forward to pulling this apart in the future. But there's no gyro on it. I thought there might have been a gyro. No gyro. But yeah, it doesn't really seem to need it. No, like I'm not even hitting this full throttle. And when you do, it doesn't want to spin out, which is always good. And seems to land quite nicely when you make a absolute pig's ear of it. And I have to say, just those little basic things that always make stuff good. Where you put the body on and the power button is easily accessible, which is always a winner. Because if you have an Arma Mojave 4S, you know you've got to basically switch it on before you get the body all secure. Whereas with this one, you could chuck the body on it and hit the power button and you're good to go. Has it wowed me as much as that last MJX? Not really. I think if I hadn't had that MJX before, I might have been like, this is quality. No, quite small for a 1/10, but if you put this up against the Traxxas Bigfoot, so as you know, I'm a Bigfoot perv, and someone did tell me it is the F250 body on the Bigfoot one, so noted. Yeah, it looks alright. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to have that same sort of charisma that the 10210 has, maybe just because it looks a bit more classic, and this looks a bit new school, almost like the Big Rock by Arma. But yeah, little solid little RC truck. That, if you're in the market for a budget one, now, yeah, I think you're getting more bang for your buck when it comes to the MJX, with the size, with the range of the 2, the 3 and the 4S, whereas you're only getting 2 and 3S on this one. But like with parts availability, parts upgrades, Rlaarlo are all over it. So that's a wee plus point for that there. But I think you've heard enough of my waffle. So why don't we just get some driving shots in?
Button. I fixed it now.
No.
Come charge us, FaRCyde. You can charge us forever and ever and ever.
You didn't let me finish. Mojave, darling, light of my life. I'm just gonna bash you right the fun times await you when you use the link in the description in this video, saving yourself 5% on some Hobby King, turning your branded batteries. Get yourself a little battery from the website using my link. Beautiful. Issues resolved with the Pinion, more so for me being a fool, as opposed to anything wrong with the OT. I've had a little backflip fun, we've got a fresh pack in there, so I'm just going to try and get a little speed run. I don't have rakes of room. I may have rehearsed this and I may have spun out in any way. So we'll give it a wee run round this way. Full power. And a little backflip into the equation. I'll have to shoot this again. Poor little accelerometer. 56.61. Okay, we'll give that another try. Right, so we'll try again. We got a decent speed run on this. I'm kind of running out of room, unfortunately. Give it another wee pass. Full throttle. Oh, and then I go and do that. Right. I think we've front flipped that enough. Hopefully it's landing in poop. 58.20. So it's usually about, like, with the last couple that I've done there, it's been 58, sort of 59. I will pop that up on the screen. What we get in miles per hour. But I think it's time for the final verdict. Now, just while I am getting ready to pack up, I was just finishing. I was just trying to finish off this pack here, and I don't know. I had a wee dig about in this, and allegedly there's a gyro. I couldn't find it. Had a wee spark about with the settings on the controller, and I could not get anything gyro-wise to work on this. But my point is, this little thing is set up so well. That I don't think it needs one. You've got half decent air control. I'm looking at it skating about in the car park. Me just trying to do this one-handed for you. But it kind of rips away. Doesn't give me the same drifting pleasure as, you know, like other sort of drifty cars. But that suspension is set up so well. Oh, classic. Suspension is set up so well. Look, it just like nicely leans into the corners. You get a little cock of the back wheel. Felt like an old school GTI. But they've done really well. And, way, does it need a gyro? Is my point. Short of terrible driving. But enough of my waffle. Let's get back and get some final verdicts in. You know what? It is far too nice to be doing my final thoughts inside. Look at that beautiful blue sky. It's not often we get those in Scotland, but you're not fussed about the weather here. Final thoughts on the Omni Terminator. I'm not going to say it. I think, one, I can't pronounce the manufacturer's name. That is a massive, massive thumbs down for the OT. It is a bit bland looking. I'm not going to lie, it doesn't put a smile on my face when I look at it like an officially licensed body, or something that's a bit wild and wacky like the 10210 is, which I've kind of based a comparison on that for you. I didn't get, unfortunately, I lost a lot of footage, so I apologise. I will try and sort out the technical gremlins. Speed-wise, yeah, it's fast enough. It has got good air control, but I could be doing with a bit more power. You know, I completely contradict what I've said before. Power doesn't make every single RC car better, but maybe a wee bit more power in that would probably pep that right up, short of me putting the larger pinion in, almost making a pig's ear of it, but I think I've saved that. And that's another, what sort of leads me on to my next point for the Rlaarlo. It seems bulletproof. The 10210, yeah, I've had to fix a few things on it when I've been chucking it about skate parks and whatnot. A few things have bent and buckled, but the Rlaarlo, hey, I got it right. It's bulletproof. You could thrash that about no end, and I did today for some final footage for you, and it was going. It just kept going. So I have to give them full marks for reliability wise and durability, because I didn't plan on sending it to the moon. I'm not that kind of channel, but yeah, it was a little tough little so-and-so, and it took a good I'm not going to say it, but yeah, it got thrown about a bit, and it stood up well, and it's still running fine. On the whole, it's just a bit bland. It just doesn't seem to have a bit of personality about it. It does put a smile on your face when you land a nice jump, but yeah, it's just a bit meh. So with those final thoughts of mehness, I will say goodbye. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, please. That would be lovely. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now. Take it easy. It's a bit cold. Ooh,